Welcome back to the deep dive. Forget the boardrooms, forget complex algorithms for a moment. Today, our deep dive looks at radical efficiency, found somewhere really unexpected. We're talking about a kitchen utensil drawer.
Sounds intriguing. What's the angle?
Well, our source today is called A Gardener's Cocktail Fork Secret. It details this simple modification, or maybe just a repurposing, of a common household item. The author actually calls it one of the most effective process-improving tools they've ever acquired. So our mission is to unpack this tiny revolution.
Okay.
We're not just looking at a quirky gardening tip here. We're really analyzing a micro case study in, let's say, process optimization, and one that kind of proves high-value solutions can often come from the cheapest, least expected sources.
Yeah, that's a compelling argument, isn't it? Goes against the usual assumption that, better performance always means specialized, expensive gear. This source makes you focus purely on the functional geometry of an object. Strips away all the marketing purpose stuff.
Exactly. And the object of obsession here, it's the appetizer or cocktail fork.
Ah, okay. The little ones.
Yeah, a tiny, usually two-tined implement. Not exactly the star of the cutlery set, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at the specs. What makes this specific fork mechanically better than, say, a specialized seedling tool?
Right. And we really need to stick to the source's details here because, well, they're key to the whole hack. The tool that worked, just 10 to 12 centimeters long, tiny. And the really critical feature is its structure. Only two slender tines.
Two tines.
Yeah. That specific size, combined with those 2 points, it sort of shifts it. It goes from being just a passive serving thing to an active, precision digging device.
Okay, so before it was a secret gardening weapon, this fork had a pretty, standard job, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally culinary. Its original purpose is, spearing olives, getting cherries out of a jar, maybe holding a small piece of cake steady. It's designed for really careful, gentle handling of small, delicate items, things that are easily damaged, which is a theme, maybe surprisingly, that's perfectly mirrored in its new gardening role.
Right. Now, here's where the analysis needs to get interesting. The author mentions that locally, people often just use a standard toothpick for this kind of micro gardening.
Mm-hmm. Common practice.
And a toothpick is basically free, disposable.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't the author just stick with that? Does that two-tine structure really offer a mechanical advantage that justifies, switching?
It absolutely does. And this is where I think we move from just a household anecdote to some genuine engineering insight. A toothpick, okay, it's a single point. It gives you precision for digging maybe, but it fails pretty badly actually when you need leverage or stability. Think about it. A single point creates rotational forces, instability when you're trying to lift or reposition a seedling. It forces you to disturb the roots more.
Right, wobbles.
Exactly. The 2 tines, though, even separated by just a millimeter or two, they provide a stable kind of cradle and controlled leverage. They distribute that gentle pressure you need across 2 points instead of concentrating it, maybe painfully, on just one.
Yeah.
It's functional utility beating out mere cost.
That distinction, single point disturbance versus dual point stability, that seems huge. And we should probably elevate the stakes here. This wasn't just casual planting, was it?
No, not at all.
It was transplanting numerous basil seedlings.
Yeah.
So walk us through the specific challenge the author was facing there.
Okay, so we're dealing with transplanting, which is, botanically speaking, a highly stressful process for delicate plants. People talk about transplant shock.
Right. I've heard that. It can kill them.
It definitely can. It's a measurable threat to, your yield or just the plant's survival. When you move a basil seedling, and the author notes these were from long harvested seeds, which might mean they're particularly fragile, you're working with almost microscopic structures. The fine root hairs, those are the main bits for taking up water and nutrients. They are incredibly sensitive. Any rough handling, even slight tears, it severely limits the plant's ability to recover in its new pot or tray. Often leads straight to failure.
So the challenge isn't just moving dirt. It's like performing root surgery with minimal invasion. You need microforceps, maybe, not a shovel.
Precisely. That's a great analogy. The goal is moving the plant and its little root ball with basically zero disturbance to those critical root hairs. And the author discovered this cocktail fork greatly helped with plucking, digging, and gently settling these tiny basil plants.
Plucking, digging, and settling. Okay.
It turns what's often a clumsy, stressful, high-failure job into something almost surgical with much better success rates.
Okay, let's break down the exact technique the author describes, because it's not just stabbing the fork in, right? It sounds like a specific 2-part move that uses that dual structure.
Exactly. Step one is positioning those two tines really close to the middle of the seedling stem, almost like tweezers, like you said.
Right.
Because the fork is small, the tines don't go deep enough to damage the main root ball, but they give just enough lift and leverage. They separate the soil without scraping the stem itself. That's the plucking and digging part.
Okay, gentle lift. Makes sense. What's step two?
Step two is the gently settling phase. And this is arguably kind of more revolutionary. Once the seedling is in its new spot, you need to firm the soil around the base, right? Get rid of air pockets, give it support.
Yeah, always tamp it down a bit.
But a traditional tool, or even your finger, risks crushing that delicate stem. The cocktail fork, though, you can use the back or the side of it, the flat part. That gives you enough surface area to gently press the surrounding soil, securing the base without putting pressure directly on the stem.
Ah, okay. So it's got that dual capability, precision extraction and stable firming. That's clever.
It is, isn't it?
Because a toothpick might get the plant out, like you said, but it offers zero help in securing it gently afterwards.
Right,
So this fork prevents the seedling from just flopping over,
right.
which, yeah, that often kills young basil, and this efficiency comes purely from the geometry, not from some fancy material.
And that's really the heart of this deep dive, isn't it? The two tines give precision for that controlled extraction. The fork's body gives stability for efficient, non-damaging settling. It's just a perfect example of form-following function, even if the original function was, spearing a piece of cheese.
Okay, so we've established the performance is, well, kind of radical for such a simple thing. Now let's look at the cost, because usually radical performance means radical spending.
Usually, yes.
But here, the efficiency lesson gets even clearer. The source gives us a number. The fork cost only MYR 2.40.
Right.
Now, for our global listeners, that translates to, what, less than 60 US cents? Significantly under dollar, euro, pound, whatever, in most places.
Yeah, pocket change.
You're optimizing a critical high failure rate process for basically nothing.
And that low price point is absolutely critical to the author's final realization. It begs the question, why don't professional nurseries or high-end gardeners use specialized tools just for this task?
Good question. Why not?
Well, often because the specialized tools designed for transplanting are built for bigger things. They're maybe expensive or bulky or just overkill. They're thinking about trees, shrubs, not tiny basil seedlings. The specialized tool industry seems to have overlooked the minimum viable tool for maximum precision at this micro level.
So the cocktail fork basically fills a functional gap that the specialized market missed because it was too busy focusing on, I don't know, proprietary complexity instead of simple mechanical leverage.
Exactly. That sums it up perfectly. The author's final assessment really brings this home. They state that despite the fork's tiny price and, unassuming look, it became one of the most effective and process-improving tools they'd acquired for gardening so far.
Wow. So far. That's high praise.
It really is. It strongly suggests that they saw a real drop in seedling deaths and a big increase in how fast and easy the whole transplanting task became. That's a huge return on investment for, 60 cents?
It really shifts this from just being a neat gardening hack to a genuine, aha moment about efficiency itself, doesn't it? It shows that high-value solutions don't always need fancy investments. They need critical reevaluation of the mechanical properties of tools you might already have, or tools that are super available and affordable. It's about optimizing the process by spotting the right functional geometry, not just throwing money at it.
Exactly. It encourages you, the listener, to look beyond the brand name, beyond the marketing spiel. Ask yourself, what is this object actually capable of doing? Never mind what the label says. By focusing purely on, length, width, material, contact points, the basic physics, the author unlocked a secret that purpose-built tools maybe couldn't touch. That critical thinking, that's the real takeaway here, I think.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this for you. We're talking about a 10 to 12 centimeter two-tined appetizer fork, costing less than $1. And it dramatically improved the really delicate, often frustrating process of transplanting lots of basil seedlings.
Yeah.
It did this by giving unparalleled precision for lifting them out, and then controlled stability for firming them in their new home. High effectiveness through really minimalist design.
Right, and that leaves us with this final kind of provocative thought, which comes straight from the author's discovery. If a tool designed for spearing, tiny bits of cake can revolutionize delicate plant transfer, well, what other mundane, affordable item that's probably sitting unused in your home right now could unlock a similar process-improving secret?
Good question.
But in a completely different area of your life, we challenge you to look at your current tool set, maybe in the kitchen, your office, the garage, wherever, with fresh eyes. Critical eyes, focused only on mechanical geometry. You might just find your next great efficiency hack hiding in plain sight.